Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, and this is Redefining Yourself. This is a program where we're talking about overcoming narcissist abuse. To all the new subscribers, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for finding something relevant to assist you in either recognizing, getting more education, or helping you to get out of your situation or even recover from your situation. Thank you guys for joining me on Sunday. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for interacting with me. I really enjoy interacting with all of you. It's really worth all my time and the studying I do to answer your question. If I don't have the answer, trust me, I will go find that answer for you or refer you somewhere else to get the answer. And so there was a young lady who asked me a question or made a comment on the YouTube channel, and you guys can scroll through the comments and find it yourself. But what you said was that you are married. You are now married for 20 years and you have 4 children and you need help to get out. One of the things that I tell you is that, number one, because it seems as if you may not have resources at this time, you don't have a job to sustain yourself or a way to get out of the situation, me telling you to get out right away would be unwise to do. My recommendation to you is to listen to these videos, go through the videos in order to strengthen yourself. Once you begin to strengthen yourself and understand what you're dealing with, some of the responses you're going to get, some of the retaliation that you may get, that will give you an opportunity and strength to make a decision whether to leave the relationship or not. Those of you that have children, it's not that easy to just jump out and leave the relationship because of the fact that the judge can deem it as abandonment or kidnapping your children. And so there are legalities, when you have children, and it's best to go speak to a lawyer, go speak to an advocate, start going to look for those that work in the domestic violence arena or even the YWCA that has resources, and to discuss a plan of escape. And some of you are going to have to start from ground zero. A lot of you have built lives with these narcissists, and it's not that easy just to get out and escape, especially if you have children. And so my advice to you is just begin to watch, even if it is binge watching these videos in order to build your strength, build your courage, get resources, and get in contact with people that can help you in the situation that you are in. You can't just jump up and leave, but strengthen yourself first. Hopefully that will help you. And so those of you, please join, subscribe to my channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload new videos. And I do come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast time. And so today I wanted to respond to one of the viewers who asked me to talk about ghosting. I did do a video called Ghosting and Stonewalling, but as you know, as we go through these videos, we begin to learn new things, get more information, get new vocabulary, different insight, and so I wanted to come and revisit that again. And this time I wanted to talk about ghosting / silent treatment or silence. I went to Savannah Gray, who's a freelance writer, hypnotherapist, sports fanatic, and philosopher, has a degree in psychology, and is a founder of Estemology.com, and it's a website dedicated to educating and healing survivors of abusive relationships. And here she talks about the silent treatment. The silent treatment, a narcissist tool for psychological warfare. And we talked about psychological warfare before, and that is exactly what they do: psychological, so emotional, mental warfare against you. And so remember, everything that a narcissist does, they do it and they have an ulterior motive. There's a reason why you just don't take it. It's not innocent. It's not, they're being rational. There's nothing rational about anything they do. Everything that they do has a ulterior motive behind it. And the sad part about it is dealing with a narcissist, you always have to be on guard, because everything that they do has an ulterior motive, and there's something behind it. So that's sad, because you can't even relax around them. You're always on guard when you're dealing with a narcissist. So those of you that have children by narcissists, it doesn't matter what they say that's nice, or it seems like they're helping you, they finally came around to want to help you with the kid. Everything they do has an ulterior motive. Always remember that, and always look at them like that. And so she's talking about ghosting, and she's talking about the silent treatment. So she kind of uses that interchangeably: ghosting, silent treatment, and then she did also use the term radio silence. Now, I disagree with radio silence, because in the military, when we use radio silence was for the purpose of not allowing the enemy to pick up on the frequency, the radio frequency, and to stop the radio chatter, so that the enemy could not pick up on radio chatter, or they can pick up on radio frequency and tap into your radio into your radio frequency to hear what you are discussing, with the rest of your unit. And so for radio silence, I would call that no contact. For us as survivors, radio silence, meaning that you're not allowing that narcissist to pick up on the frequency, your radio frequency, your language, your tone, or anything. That will be stonewalling. So radio silence to me would be stonewalling. And that will be used by the survivors. So those of you that are still in that, the radio silence is so that the enemy cannot pick up on the frequency, the radio frequency, or tap into the radio frequency and listen to what you are discussing. Is called radio silence, so that everyone is quiet and we eliminate the radio chatter. Okay, because sometimes when you're hurt, you chatter, you talk too much, and they pick up on everything that you say, and that's what they do. They try to stimulate you to pick up on anything that you say, so they can pick up on cues on what you say. So always be careful, and remember, everything that they say is also very strategic. So the words that they say, the things that they say, is very strategic. So you have to be very strategic when you talk back with them, and think before you speak. Do not talk out of emotions, and do not react. Think and be slow to speak. Ghosting and the silent treatment, which is interchangeable, is a psychological tool or a weapon against you. It can be used for several different reasons. And sometimes what you'll find is, and I think the viewer that asked the question is actually speaking of ghosting in a marriage. And so we'll talk about ghosting in general, and then we'll talk about some of the reasons why they use ghosting or the silent treatment. And so let's see here. What she says here is, when the partner of a narcissist starts to realize that things just aren't adding up, and they start asking a lot of questions, a narcissist gets very defensive. We all know this. They get very, very defensive when you start figuring out the stuff that they're saying is a lie. It doesn't make any sense. Let me ask you a question, because you're starting to tear down the story. You're starting to see in between the facade and the illusion. And they get very, very angry because you're supposed to believe what they say. You're not supposed, who are you to question me? And what she said here is, when cornered like a little rat, a narcissist will not cower, but they'll go straight on attack mode. And so they'll get angry, they pick a fight, and somehow make all of their bad behavior your fault. So remember, they project on you, they divert the attention off of them onto you, and it becomes everything that you've done wrong. You can ask them a simple question like, where's the money in the account? What did you spend it on? Give me a receipt, so that, and then everything that they say will always revert it back on you. Well, you went and bought a toothpick, but you bought a speedboat. I need to see the receipt, and why are you buying this? Or, but everything, they'll turn it back around to get you off of their trail. They will gaslight or terrorize you. That's one of the things they do, or two of the things they do. How dare you question them? They do not want you getting close to the real them, and they do not want you to get close to the truth. Their filter is so twisted and damaged that by the end of it, they are wondering if perhaps you're not quite as special as they once thought. Remember, they idealize you. They put you on this pedestal. And so, because of the fact that you agreed to everything that they said, you thought they were wonderful and marvelous, and all this, wonderful hoopla about the narcissist, when you begin to question them, and you begin to question their behavior and the things that they're doing, then all of a sudden they look at you like you're not as perfect as I painted you out to be. This is usually the spot where their feelings switch from having over-evaluated the interest in you to devaluing you. So you must not be that good, because you won't allow me to do what I want to do. And so one of the things that she says here, and that I also discuss when it comes to like couples counseling, is that, when you're arguing and the argument is not going anywhere, it's best to step away from the argument, come back at a specific time when both people have cooled off and cooled down. Because usually when you cool off and cool down, you see the other person's perceptions about a situation. You calm down and you realize the mistakes that you made in the conversation, and you come back, you're more cooled. You're right about this, and I was just upset about this. Well, with a narcissist, that's not the case. So it says here, with healthy couples, this is cooling off period, which usually will be followed by more dialogue, apologies, taking responsibility for their behavior, and making up. With a narcissist, the silent treatment is the opportunity to incite psychological warfare. So they're going to pay you back. The purpose of the silent treatment is multifaceted and usually consists of several of the following reasons, which will also include ghosting in there, okay? Ghosting and silent treatment, because that's basically what they're doing. Ghosting you is to disappear. It is what it sounds like. A ghost disappears. They just disappear, and vanish in thin air. And so ghosting, and that includes the silent treatment. Now, I've talked to people in the past that have said that whenever their narcissist will give them the silent treatment, the whole house was at peace. They were so happy that they were punished with the silent treatment because everybody was at peace. Until they started talking again. And then everybody was totally dysfunctional again, because the narcissists open up their mouth. They talk too much. They talk entirely too much to almost antagonize you and terrorize you, and they force their opinions on you. And so to punish you, they'll use ghosting and silent treatment to punish you. And that's one. This is usually the main reason for a narcissist to ghost you. How dare you accuse them? Don't you know who you're dealing with? I'll show you how awful challenging me can be, and trust me, you won't like it one bit. And generally, that's their mantra. Bottom line is that they want you to suffer, and they feed off of your pain. So when you begin to question them, it could be excellent questions. What happened to the money in the account? What did you buy? Aren't we supposed to be saving monies? We have a car note due. We need groceries. Where did this money go? Show me the bank account. So they're childish, very, very childish in their mentality. And what they'll do is, because you question them and they know what they've been doing with the money, but to get you off of their trail so you don't discover what they were doing with it, they will punish you by not talking to you or just ghosting you, disappearing. And you're thinking like, okay, what now? You begin to question yourself. What did I do wrong? Did I not? We have money going in the account together. What did I see? Now you begin questioning yourself. And that's the whole point. Now you begin questioning yourself, even to a point where you'll go and apologize. Well, maybe, the way you said what you said, maybe I said it wrong, or maybe I said it disrespect. But you're questioning yourself. You're second guessing yourself. Another thing, psychological manipulation technique to train you on how to behave. Remember, the trauma bonding is also a way of training you how to behave, and to give for you to give them what they're telling you better give them. And so in the ghosting and silent treatment, the goal is to teach you how to behave by using simple negative reinforcement technique. So you have the positive reinforcement, like when a child is potty trained and they potty in the potty for the first time, and you're like, yay! And you give them a snack or you give them a little gift. And so that's positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is like a spanking, or in this case, terrorizing you, humiliating you, ghosting you, or silent treatment you. And so they'll do all this to force you to change your behavior. If you behave and ignore all of what you're seeing and feeling, I will stay and continue to terrorize you some more. So think about it. I'm not going to stay and be better. I'm going to stay and terrorize you some more, and you better accept it, or I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm going to ghost you and not give you any time or affection or any attention. By questioning my horrendous behavior and are displeased by it, I will leave you feeling responsible and terrified that I will never return. I will press all of your buttons and hit all the triggers I have skillfully gathered while you thought I was getting to know you. That was during the love bombing and the interviewing phase, where they've gotten all those insecurities and all those secrets you shouldn't have told. They use that in order to use it against you later on, specifically in the case of ghosting and silent treatment of you. So here their thoughts are: by the time I'm done with your training, you will expect very little from me and will learn to keep your mouth shut. Stop asking me all these questions. I did it. I told you that I didn't do it, and you don't believe me, and I know I did it, but you don't know I did it. And so now shut your mouth and stop asking me, because you're making me uncomfortable. And so I'm going to ghost you, silent treatment, say nothing to you, or harass you or terrorize you until you stop asking me questions. Now, once you stop asking me questions, we can have peace in this house, and then I'll give you my attention, I'll love on you, I'll buy you whatever you want. Another thing, the reason why they use ghosting and silent treatment is when they're seeking out new supply. Let's see. What she said here is that, with dealing with narcissists, she's figured out and understanding quite often that their behavior can be very impulsive. A lot of time it is very impulsive. It's not thought out. They think out certain things in order to get to you, but they don't think of the consequences behind what they're doing. They're very manipulative and very strategic in what they want to do to cause you to react, but a lot of times they don't think of the after effect or the consequences that come behind that. Let's see. Sometimes they see something they want and they act without much thought to the consequences. She said that. In the case, an opportunity will present itself and they cannot help but take advantage of it. If another catches their fancy, they will want to experience that person and get a good feed into without get a good feed in without having to deal with you. They may want to ascertain whether or not this supply is better than you and if they should replace you. They will not tell you this, of course. You will be left completely in the dark, because if it doesn't work out, they want to be able to come back to your understanding arms. So a lot of times they will also ghost you and silent treatment you when they're trying to love bomb a new supply. And they're trying to feel out this new supply to see if it's a better supply than what you were. So they're trying to feel it out. But if they're connected with you, it's too much interruption. You'll ask them too many questions. You'll pick up on what they're doing. So they can't focus on this new supply with having you in their ear as well. So they'll ghost you and stop talking to you and love bomb or hoover or love bomb this new source of supply to check out to see if this is going to work. If it doesn't work the way they want to, then they'll come back as if nothing ever happened. They don't want to face the consequences. So sometimes when the jig is up, the light of the day has fallen on all their relationship crimes, narcissists will ghost you in this circumstance because they aren't interested in being berated or having to fess up to their behavior that was less than stellar. And so they got caught up, but instead of apologizing to you, they just stopped talking to you. And they'll stop doing it for such a long time, to a point where the victim or the person that they're with will begin begging them to talk to them, and I'll forgive you, we can work this out, whatever it is, because that's what they want to hear. They're not going to apologize to you, nor are they seeking for you to accept their apologies or forgive them. All they want you to do is turn it around like, whatever it is, we can work this out. Maybe I talked to you the wrong way. So they want you to turn everything to yourself, because they're not going to take responsibility of their actions. And especially if they got caught up, they got caught with another supply, they got caught stealing money, whatever it is, they'll always turn it back on you. And ghosting and silent treating you knows it will really hurt you to your soul, to a point where a lot of people will apologize to them for something that they didn't even do just to make them come back. Let's see. Remember, they'll never give you closure. Even in the ghosting, the reason why it's so painful is because a lot of times they ghost you and just, you don't even know that you're broken up with that individual. You don't even know that it's over and they're with somebody else. And so you have no closure. And so you're going to cause some drama trying to figure out, why are you with this girl? We're not together. Well, I didn't know we weren't together. You didn't say anything to me. How did I know that we weren't together? You never said anything to me. You didn't talk to me. I've been trying to text you. They're also triangulating at the same time. So these types are far from being emotionally honest, and always want to leave the door open just in case they want to give it a knock somewhere down the road. So remember, the one video I did is till death do us part, because they always keep doors open just in case they need to return to those doors. And so if you have been a long primary source of supply and you were the primary source of supply, there's never any closure. There's no asking for forgiveness. There's no closure, because in the long run, even if it's 15, 20 years, and some people said 20 years later, the narcissist came knocking at the door as if nothing ever happened. Like, this is like, really? But they come as if nothing ever happened, because the sources of supply that they had, the new source of supply, it didn't work out. So 20 years later, they come back to you because they never close the doors. They don't like closure, but they always remember you till death do us part. They don't put you on a shelf and put you in storage until they need to come back and return to you. And hopefully by then you guys have moved on. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I didn't want to keep this a long video today, but I just wanted to answer that question, and hopefully that has helped you as to why they ghost you in a relationship. So if, and in general, but if you are in a marriage where you're noticing that your partner is ghosting you, it's different if they're giving you the silent treatment, they're still in the house. But if they're ghosting you and disappearing, 9 times out of 10 is probably because they have another source of supply. And you would get in the way because they're trying to focus their attention and all their energy and the love bombing on this new source of supply. And they're trying to see whether the source of supply is good enough to leave you for. And if they're not, then you'll see them reappear. Or they just wanted some fuel from a secondary source of supply, so they ghosted you. And they'll make up some excuse like, well, we weren't getting along and we were arguing, so I just needed a break. I needed some time out. But a narcissist always has an explanation for everything that they do, and it always has an ulterior motive. There's no honesty. There's no honesty among thieves. There's no honesty among narcissists, ever. And anytime you think that they're being honest, that they're being truthful this time. This time, I'll trust him or her in this area. Do not let your guards down. A narcissist is not to be trusted. Remember that. A narcissist is not to be trusted. And so hopefully this has helped you today. Hopefully I answered that question in reference to ghosting and ghosting in relationship, which is ghosting and silent treatment. It runs hand in hand. And so hopefully this has helped you. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Tell me some of your stories. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you guys so much for all that you guys do, because you guys make this channel happen. This is a support group. This is a support channel. You guys feel free to leave comments. Please be careful with your personal information that you put on there and personal stories. If you put personal stories on there, make sure you change your name so people don't recognize your name. But remember, narcissists also look for prey on social media and YouTube channels. And some of you guys spew a lot of your emotions on YouTube channel, and they will start watching you. They'll start looking for you, and then you'll have a love bomb, or you'll have a stalker or someone that's following you on social media, all because of what you're saying on YouTube. So be careful. You can email me at Dr. Carmen Bryant, drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. I also have a Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. And you're welcome to like the page. I post on both my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, and I come live on both. When I travel, I may only be able to come on live on one channel, which is the YouTube channel. So please subscribe and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload new videos. And once again, thank you guys so much for your support. I really enjoy, working with you guys, and stay tuned. It should be getting closer to the completion of my book. I'm excited. I'm ready to hold it in my hand so I can show you guys. And this will be an introduction that lets you know that you are not crazy, and other people have went through some of the same scenarios that you have been through, so you can identify what it looks narcissist abuse looks like in action in some of the things that they say. And so it is a Christian book, so I do give Christian encouragement in the book, but it's the principles that I want you guys to take out of the book to let you know that you are not crazy, and some words of encouragement. So thank you guys once again, and like my friend always says, go and be great.